uniting communities throughout the six. This is Urban Definition with your hosts Sassan, Kareem, and Zayn on CHHA 1610.
What is up? What is up? What is up, UD Nation? Today is Wednesday, September 7th, and you're listening to another episode of Urban Definition. As per usual, I am joined by my co-hosts, Mr. Zayn Jinnah.
Hey, everybody.
And Mr. Sassan Mirzai.
Hey, guys.
I love how every week I start and I always go up an octave. Sassan Mirzai. Zayn Jinnah. And I'm just like, wow, I sound very radio, if you will.
Well, I mean, that's what we are, right?
That is true. That is true. That is true. So, for those of you who obviously cannot see inside of our studio, because of this massive heat wave and the fact that it really is boiling, we are currently sitting in darkness. Mm-hmm. But that is, we have no power outage or anything like that. It's just that in order to stay cool, we had to turn off the lights.
Yeah. Well, I mean, me and Sass have the lights on here because we can't see anything otherwise.
Yeah, I'm pretty much going off memory. I'm doing the boards tonight, and I'm just going off the dome to try to remember, what line is what.
Yeah, no, it's really hot outside, man, and I think I'm getting sick, too. So if my voice changes a little bit or you can kind of detect some low energy, it's not anything. It's just, yeah, I've been getting sick since I woke up today.
But I hope that you, UD Nation, are finding ways to cool down, because it is ridiculous. I mean, right now it's what? Before, the heat wave change, it's currently sitting at 26 degrees, but because of the humidity and fog and smog, it's a lot hotter than that right now.
The Weather Network app is telling me that it currently feels like 40 degrees. So it's, if you're feeling really hot, make sure you get inside, put a fan on, drink some cold water.
That's
get
insane.
Cool.
On a side note, it is definitely better because it's a short week, so, we don't have to put up with this heat for too long while at work. We're already on Wednesday. Happy hump day to everybody. But we only got 2 more days, and if you're not Sassin, you only got 2 more days left to work, guys.
Sass, that's all of you, man.
I know. I don't know what to say to that. Oh, my God, you're a jerk.
So how's your weeks going this week, guys?
It's been pretty good, kind of slow. Again, because of, this whole sore throat situation happening. I don't know how I'm going to be feeling for the rest of the week. That's kind of what's worrying me right now.
Sass?
I don't know. I was just worried about the whole golf ball rain situation going on.
Yeah, because you came from Richmond Hill, and you were like, that was your one big thing. Guys, it is raining golf balls.
It was scary. It's imagine a paintball storm, kind of.
That's true.
It was cool. I don't know.
All right. No, I'll give you that one. I don't think it was that big, and I don't think the rain was that terrible because I had to drive through it a little bit earlier today. So I think you're over-exaggerating, but
it hasn't
nonetheless,
hit here yet.
It hit. We went through a rain cloud a little bit, maybe in Toronto, maybe about, I'd say, an hour ago. No, 2 hours ago.
Oh, I don't know if it's the same one then. I don't know. Whatever. Let's move on from weather and actually
Go into news?
Yes, please.
And for that, I say, what's going on in the world right now?
All right. Well, today I heard that a Muslim father was banning his kids from getting into music class, a mandatory music class in their school.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, TDSB, it is mandatory for music classes right now. And a Muslim father has basically said that, he doesn't consider music to be necessary. Also, he claims that it's against his religion or their family's religion. So he's pulling his child out of music class during that time.
Yeah, and I completely disagree with that. I think that this father does not really understand exactly what he's doing. And I understand that I was reading up about this, I understand that there are really conservative Muslims out there who stick with the whole music as haram thing. And from what I understand, it might be more of lyrical content as opposed to actual music. That's why I think this father is deeply mistaken. And it's if you're upset with musical content, it's one thing to say I don't want my kids to listen to that. But from what I'm reading, again, it's the fear of music leading to dancing, and then dancing leading to sex, which I think. I mean, if your kid's going to be sexually active, and you guys tell me if I'm wrong here, but they could do it any other way than just listening to music and dancing. Am I wrong, Sass?
Not wrong.
No, right? I mean, come on, like really? That's what your whole basis is? And on top of that, music in Islam is so important. I mean, the whole idea of celebrating Muslim culture is through art, right? Art is the best way to understand a culture, and music is a very large part of that. Kareem, you and I have been to the Aga Khan Museum before. You've noticed that, music was a large portion of, or a large, something that they wanted to implement a lot, right? They created a theater for it. It's there to celebrate and to understand, to sing messages of praise and things like that. I mean, used in that kind of context, but there's nothing wrong with that kind of self-expression.
Yeah, I'm not on the same wavelength as you right now. I mean, okay, first of all, let's go back, rewind for a quick second. I understand the whole sexuality take on things, but I don't think that's necessarily 100% the entire thing. I also feel like there's a cultural differentiation that we have to kind of talk about, and that's that in South Asian culture, they don't necessarily value the arts in terms of career paths. A lot of these, I mean, maybe not all, but a lot of the families, Muslim families, that I see arguing for, whether it be sex ed. Sex ed as a whole, like, that's 100% sexual. But for music, they don't value that type of stuff because they want their kids to become lawyers, doctors, businessmen, and stuff like that. So for that reason, I can understand. Like, that's where I think a lot of it is underlying. I don't necessarily think it has to do with, oh, my child is going to dance. Dancing leads to sexing. I don't think that's really the take on that one. In terms of Islam, a huge thing is that you and I while we're both Muslims, you come from a different subsection of Islam. Mm-hmm. The Aga Khan Museum, as amazing as it is, the big thing with that is that the pieces that are there were pieces that were donated to the Aga Khan family that they then, like the father, and then the son is the one who basically was like, I'm going to display these pieces. And as amazing as they are, I don't think that it really has a huge musical presence. It's absolutely in terms of art, in terms of sculptures.
Not in terms of, okay, fine, not in, like during the day, but if you've ever been to a concert there, they have people who are known, I mean, throughout the, like, other parts of the world to come and perform their musical pieces.
And
I've
this
actually
is why,
been to a concert there.
Yeah, and this is why I said that it's important to also consider the fact that you and I, while we're both Muslim, come from two very different sects of Islam. And you're being a Smiley, you guys tend to be a lot more free thinking, very I wouldn't use the word liberal, but you guys are very I guess you could call it more of a Western thinking, in that you guys are very progressive.
Okay.
Versus the sect that I come from, we are very unfortunately, I think they're pretty close-minded in that, even for things like weddings and stuff like that, there's no musical presence. The only music, quote-unquote music, that we really have are qasidas, which are essentially just recitations of the Quran over a musical bed. So that's a huge difference. So, I mean...
But you have Sunni Muslim rappers and poets and people like that who are of that sect, and their belief is that music would be a reflection of faith and actually help it too. Because
but are those the new age kids, or are those the old school people?
Well, they're more new age. Yeah, they are more new age.
And that's the whole thing, is that when you're talking about this father, you're not talking about the child saying, oh, I don't want to be in music class. It's the father who can arguably have an older, old school mentality that's saying, no, I want my child out, and they have to listen to the father.
But then the musical content to celebrate the faith, right? Like, as you were saying, that's music.
When you go to the Better Living Center, or that's where I go now, I think now it's the Enter Care Center or something like that, to celebrate Eid, they don't have really music playing there. The only sounds you really hear are the sounds of the video game music, but there's not any sort of real musical artists performing, other than this year at the Enter Care Center, where they had, I think it was called the Dean Squad, which are two Islamic rappers. But it's it's definitely a generational thing for me, where it's the old school is, no, that's not a part of our religion, whereas the new school is more of, there is ways to add that to who we are, add that to our identity, add some musical presence. So in that regard, that's all I'm trying to say.
Okay, yeah, I never had considered that perspective, actually.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, it threw me off to say that it's against the religion, because I've never known, but you're right, I'm part of a smaller community within it, so I couldn't know that perspective, but it just never struck me as
No, I get
someone
that.
believing it is to be a part of, to be against the religion, and
Sass.
that's interesting.
Sass, you have a very distinct direction and perspective on this, because I guess your family's a little bit more involved in terms of the educational system.
Yeah.
And then you come from an Islamic family, but when I say that, it's very loosely used, because your family is very kind of chilled with it and very relaxed, and they do, like I said, have the newer style of thinking.
Well, yeah, everything changed for them because they moved out of the country once it was forced upon you to be religious. So that's mainly why we're not really that religious.
But what's your thoughts on, an old school father basically saying, no, my child will not be learning music in school. That
Oh.
time needs to be spent learning his mathematics and, polishing his English skills.
I honestly don't get it, because in Iran, when I go there, I see people performing on the streets. There's music shops, you can buy instruments, you can take lessons. So,
But the thing with
What's the
Iran
deal?
is that the only thing with Iran is that it's not just one religion. It's a multiplicity. It's a cumulative. It's not just one religion, though.
no, it's mostly one religion.
Is it? Because I always thought that they had a pretty dominant. I'm not sure if it's Christian or Catholic, but they have a pretty Anglican or just Catholic presence there.
No, I think it's all Islamic.
Interesting. I
because
never
of
knew that.
Government. No, it's like in the 1970s, everything changed. The new person came in power and took over and made everyone to be forced to be Islamic.
Interesting. So you think because of, I guess, your background, you think that it's ludicrous that that should not be allowed, that this child should be taught.
Yeah, it's a hobby. You need something to relieve stress. You can't just be working all day. That's like banning games because it has nothing to do with life.
I get that. All right. But as per usual, we do love our listeners chiming in on the conversation. So Zayn, like I do every week, tell our listeners how to get involved.
Yeah, most definitely. You can go visit our website, www.urbandefinition.ca. You have the Facebook tab and the Twitter tabs right there. And just comment and post on a wall post or tweet at us and let us know your thoughts. I mean, do you agree with the father or do you disagree with them? And if so, what are your why for both points? It's definitely something to think about. I mean, as Kareem has pointed out, it's a cultural thing. It's also a generational thing. And having us two as different types of Muslims, I never really considered that perspective. So, I mean, it's really opened my eyes a little bit. And I think, yeah, and not only that, but anything else that we talk about tonight, please hit us up for sure.
I think what the main thing about this topic, though, is that there's so many angles to be able to approach it that there really isn't a right or wrong way in terms of your thinking and your mentality and the way that you perceive this whole topic.
No, definitely not. Yeah.
Zayn, it was one of those times where I looked at Zayn and he went up with it, so I thought he was going to elaborate, but he went up and then stopped. And I
just lost my train of thought and I was like, I don't know what I was going to say anymore.
That's okay. It happens. But yeah, so just to summarize, Sass, you say no, it needs to be embedded.
Obviously.
Zayn, you think
Same as Sass.
that it needs to be embedded. And for me, I think it's the child's decision, really and truly. But we want to know what you think, guys, so let us know. We'll be back after the break. Stay tuned. Urban Definition, in the heat. Deuces.
This is Urban Definition. Urban Definition. On CHHA 1610.
What is going on?
Zayn, you're terrible. This guy's looking down at his phone. Prior to the break when we went out, he was like, all right, it's going to be me. I'm going to bring us back. Meanwhile, this guy's on his phone going live on Facebook right now.
How do I stop going live on Facebook?
This guy.
There are people watching and I don't know what to do.
Zayn, poor show, buddy. Poor show.
It says it has to be 4 seconds long. All right, I'm just going to close this.
Zayn, you're terrible.
Poor guy.
Sorry, I thought I was going to be done long before the commercial break was over. My bad.
The funny thing is Zayn has headphones on right now, which the moment that our stinger came on, that should have alerted him. So I was like, okay, he's going to hear the stinger, and then he's going to be like, all right, stop what I'm doing and say, what up, everybody, welcome back. But no, I think he said, I didn't even know. He was like, what am I doing, or something like that.
Sorry, everybody.
Sassan's just dying right now.
I
'cause he's
apologize
like,
deeply.
Sassan's looking at me like, thank goodness that wasn't me. Because usually I give Sassan a really hard time for being on his phone.
I was on my DS.
You guys are terrible.
Oh my
Is it just
God.
that I'm sitting in the dark so you guys can't see me? Or is it just that y'all are just goofing today?
No, I should have been paying more attention to that. I'm usually on the ball with this. You know what? I'm just going to blame the sickness, man.
No,
sore
it's the
throat.
heat. It's the heat.
It's the heat, right? It's definitely the heat.
Y'all are terrible.
Oh, man. You know what? Now that we're here, we got Real Talk coming up, right?
Yeah, that now. You see, Zayn's trying to. He's like, let me try to move this on because I don't want to be roasted any more
Don't
than
watch that too hard.
than I currently am. Anyways, that's right. Zayn did say, yep, it is Real Talk time. For those of you who have never tuned into the show, Real Talk is essentially where we, your three hosts, will give you our take on usually we pick one topic, and we kind of delve into it. But with that being said, as per every week, please don't roast us because we are not, by any means, professionals in every topic. We're merely just giving you our perspective. So here we go. With the NFL season set to kick off, actually, it's probably less than 24 hours at this point. Colin Kaepernick, who is arguably no longer the starting quarterback of the San Francisco 49ers, but that's not the point right now. Colin Kaepernick is a quarterback for the National Football League on the San Francisco 49ers, and he continues to sit out the national anthem. Now, when I say that, let's rewind back to the whole topic. So basically what happened is during the preseason, during the national anthem, Colin Kaepernick took a knee. When they asked him why he took a knee, he said, because I will not represent or honor a country that has a broken system that's not doing anything to fix it. This obviously sent everybody into a frenzy because people were responding with, oh my God, you're not representing our troops. You're basically, crapping on America. What you're doing is so wrong, yada, yada. From then to now, the organization, when I say the organization, I'm talking about the San Francisco 49ers, have come out and said, we support our quarterback. We support his decision. His teammates have also, when I say teammates, we're talking about one right now. So far, one teammate has kneeled down during the national anthem with him. Jabari Parker of the Milwaukee Bucks from the National Basketball Association has also come out saying that he supports him. And Colin Kaepernick is now the number one sold jersey in all of the National Football League, which I'll get to in a little bit. But basically the whole thing with that is that, yeah, that's a whole other... It's no longer just a player, it's more of a movement at this point, which, we'll get what your takes are on that. So with that, I'll start with the first question. How will this affect North America? When I say North America, I'm talking about Canada and the U.S.
I think it's a protest of his choice, and we all know that. As I've read this before, and Kareem, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's actually not a mandate for players to stand up during the national anthem. That's completely their choice, correct?
Yes, but it's like one of those unwritten rules where it's like you stand during the national anthem type deals, yeah.
But it's also like the same rule in the NBA where you don't, shoot the basket if your team's up ahead in the last minute of the fourth quarter or something like that. Where it's
an unwritten rule.
But he is exercising his rights as an American citizen to stand up for issues that he believes are true, and it's not against the troops that he's trying to offend. He's not trying to offend anyone. He's trying to make a stance that says, how can I be proud of a country that doesn't reflect the values that I believe in, that doesn't reflect what I grew up thinking it represents. So, and as a person with a voice, he's taking advantage of that voice, and I applaud him for it because it makes sense. You want to call to action. A lot of times we criticize stars for not saying anything. So when the star says something, all of a sudden we're turning around and going, how can you do this? I don't know if it's going to affect Canada just as much. I think the American players on these teams, they're representing Canada at this point, so I don't know if they'll sit out for the national anthems of their own countries, but I don't think it'll affect our national anthem
In the broad scheme of things,
certain
I mean, Toronto is in terms of the National Basketball Association, actually the four major sports in North America. So you got the NFL, the NHL, NBA, and the MLB.
Mm-hmm.
So that's baseball, football, hockey, and basketball. Of those four sports, the NFL is the only one that has no national anthem for Canada. So in that regard, you're right, in that it probably won't affect Canada. But the way that this is kind of evolving is that it's becoming a cross-sport thing. And in that, I mean the fact that, Jabari Parker's jumping on, Serena Williams is jumping on, and he's getting the support of athletes on the whole, not just, the National Football League, which delves a whole other question. But before we get into all those other questions, I do want to hear your take, Sass.
I thought it was a constitutional right to, listen to the national anthem.
Well,
Isn't that a
listen to the
thing?
national anthem is different than standing during the national anthem.
Or standing.
Mhm.
So I'm not sure how this is going to play for him. Wouldn't he go to jail for that?
Not at all.
No, it's his right to sit down if he wants to.
By that standard, Dwayne Wade would be in jail already.
I guess so. But
He would have been arrested the first time. That's it.
Dwayne Wade, for those of you who don't know, during last year's NBA playoffs, Dwayne Wade, who's a member of, he's a member of the Chicago Bulls now, but he was playing on the opposing team in Miami at the time. He was shooting baskets while the Canadian national anthem was being played.
oh yeah, I heard of that.
Yeah.
I actually saw that.
Yes.
That's the only sports thing I know.
Yeah, and no one did anything to him, so why does it matter? Because again, it's the power that he's opposing. I think that's why it's such a big deal. But no, I agree with them, and even Barack Obama supported him and said, this is his right. And if that's his right, it's the same logic as saying Donald Trump shouldn't say all these hateful things that he's saying, but as a presidential candidate, he's saying it, so why not as a celebrated athlete can't you perform it?
All right. So,
Now,
kind of addressing...
in terms of Canada, I don't think it'll affect us that much. I don't see any Canadian players doing that because it's not our issue.
Okay, so I'm going to give you my take now. So a lot of American players play for the CFL. The CFL is the Canadian Football League. Now, I did say that it's going cross-sport, so in that, I feel like it's going to directly impact Canada, especially, because you look at issues, not groups. Groups like Black Lives Matter. We have our own Black Lives Matter Toronto. And I really, really do feel like when the NBA season starts next month, those are going to be questions coming out because the NFL season is going to be underway as of tomorrow. My assumption is that this is no longer going to be just a Colin Kaepernick thing, that this is going to be almost an every sport thing where a lot of athletes are going to come forward and start kneeling during the national anthem. That's going to cross over, so when basketball starts, it's going to be the same thing. There's probably going to be a few athletes who are going to be sitting, because there are Canadian athletes, there are American athletes, and international athletes, and I do feel like it will, at some point, hit home for a lot of these people and athletes, and they will, start kneeling, start sitting, and have a stand. I feel like this all actually began during the ESPYs when LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Chris Paul, and Carmelo Anthony at the beginning of the ESPYs came forward and talked about the need for change in America when it comes to racial equality.
And these are the people you want to speak on that issue. They even wore, who was it, Eric Gardner, who was the one that was suffocated to death by police.
I can't breathe. Yes.
They wore his T-shirt. When Trayvon Martin was, fatally killed, they wore hoodies to the game. So this isn't the first time athletes have taken a stand. I think because of how serious the fans take it, it's now directly affecting them. And now that we see that, because at first the fans don't care if you wear a hoodie or a T-shirt, but when you do something that offends them to what they value, then you have their attention. And I'm actually glad this is coming up. So, yeah, you're right. We're going to see this. We're probably going to see this in the NBA, maybe the NHL. I'm not too certain of that.
But also kind of pushing forward. I mean, you look at the NFL season. They play in Canada. They play in England. They play in New Mexico this year. And there's no way that, these NFL teams are going to come here. Let's say San Francisco, I don't think they're going to, but let's say, hypothetically, San Francisco was playing in England. Boom. Colin Kaepernick's going to be kneeling down in England during the American national anthem. Who knows if he's going to be kneeling during the British national anthem. And there's your social impact right there, because there's no chance in a blue blazing anything that Colin Kaepernick doing that there will not cause change, or not necessarily change, but some sort of impact.
Well, it's not their issue, so I don't see it as why he should sit down for other. I
Of
mean, if he
course it
wants
is.
to, he
Racial
can.
inequality is international. There's no such thing as...
It is, but it's affecting. It's mostly the states where the attention is right now, and I know we have the Toronto chapter, who's bringing light to this. The UK chapter is bringing light to their issues, but it's mainly to do with the American issue right now.
Well, I don't think it has to do mainly the American issue. I think it's more so the fact that he lives in America. He is an American citizen. That is his home. So for that's why he's sitting, because it's directly affecting his home. It's the same thing like somebody in England doing the same thing.
I would say, and just the last takeaway,
Yeah.
it was bigger if Muhammad Ali rejected to go to Vietnam. That was
Okay.
a bigger thing because he actually rejected being in the army as opposed to the anthem.
As per usual, we love your thoughts, and we want to hear what you guys have to say, because this is a very compelling subject. But we will be back after the break, guys. Stay tuned.
Urban Definition. On CHHA 1610. This is Urban Definition.
Welcome back, everyone, to Urban Definition.
Hey, he's not trying to go live this time.
No, definitely not. After
deleted
that
it.
disaster.
Did he delete it?
You know what happened? The audio did not record. So you can't even listen to it anyways. But now that we're back from commercial break, it's time for our Kareem's favorite segment of
Hold
the
on,
day.
sorry, Sass. This is my tech talk right now. So I'm currently on Facebook right now, and I have the video, and I was about to share it, and it said, "Sorry, the post you were sharing couldn't be loaded. It may have been recently deleted." So it's gone.
There was no audio anyway, so anyone watching it would have just been like, what the heck's going on anyway?
I'm sad to hear this.
But
I
Kareem-
really am sad.
You know what we do have on right now?
Tech talk, tech talk, tech talk, tech talk. Zayn wants to move on from the show. Talk.
So today was Apple's keynote speech, and they released the iPhone 7. Well, not released. You can pre-order it this Friday, and it'll be coming out on September 16th. And I know you guys were there when I was watching it. And
You mean because we watched it right before the show?
yeah, because it was happening, and I was like, "Oh my god, I have to see this before we go to the show."
It was definitely not OMG worthy, guys.
No.
It was awful.
What are you saying no for? You were on the you weren't even watching it. You were like on your laptop
I
researching
saw
today's
some
show.
of it during the day today, and I was watching what they were unveiling. I wasn't impressed. And then after hearing your reactions, I was even less excited to even think about Apple.
It got really racial.
It did. The comment section, if you guys watched it on the YouTube stream where people are allowed to say whatever the heck they want to say, it had a lot of Harambe memes. I'll leave it at that.
It was bad.
But anyways, I think the problem iPhone has is that they're really good at marketing by saying that their phone is better than their old phone, which is supposed to be true. That's what they're doing. It's supposed to be an upgrade, but they never compare themselves to the market. So this is what I hate about it. But they do have one cool feature that no other phone has right now, and it's a secondary camera, which is a telephoto camera.
Waste of time.
Honestly, we don't know anything about it yet, so we're going to have to wait till people get hands-on
Okay,
reviews.
pause. First of all, what do you need a telephoto lens that... Okay, sure, it's an optical zoom lens that allows you to get a little bit closer than, you have in the past. But it's essentially the same concept as optical zoom to digital zoom, except now you have two moving lenses that will probably interfere with each other and overheat the phone. And let's be honest, Apple does not have a good track record with its battery life.
Yeah, and they said you can browse for 13 hours. That made me laugh.
Yeah, on Wi-Fi with
No,
your
it's
phone.
at LTE.
No, I know, but okay, fine. On LTE while your phone is plugged in.
No, it said
No, I
on
know what it
battery.
said. I know
Yeah.
what it said. But let's be honest, that is not... Apple's concepts are far from Apple's reality.
Yeah, that's very true. But anyways, let's move away from Apple because we're just going to be ripping on them all day.
Apple.
Microsoft has said that they're going to plan to release their new phone next week. And I don't think it's next week though. They just said they're going to have like info on it, but it's the Surface phone. And this is the phone I'm actually excited for because it's going to have 6 gigs of RAM, 500 gigs of internal storage, and a Snapdragon 860 chip.
Wait, sorry. 500 gigs of internal storage?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So It's basically a tiny computer you can have in your pocket, which is awesome. I love that.
It's true. But it's really interesting to see how it compares to, like, because even though when we first spoke about it, I was not for the Robin, and I was really against it for a number of reasons.
Hey.
And I have no problem listing them off, but just not right now because Sassan does have Tech Talk. But with that being said, I've been doing a little bit more research, and I really am starting to feel the Robin phone. So it's going to be interesting to see how this phone kind of compares to that, not in terms of specs, but in terms of the fact that this will have a 500 gig internal hard drive.
So you like cloud-based phones?
It's not that I like cloud-based phones. It's that when you first introduced me to the concept, I was super against it. I was like, what do you need this foolishness for? Everybody's going to find your stuff because it's on the cloud. Anyways, as I started doing my research into the phone, I was kind of feeling it. I was like, all right, I get it. I can see why somebody would want this phone, and I was moderately impressed by it.
But you should, like, take my word for it, because I'm someone who you know is super against Surface.
Damn, Sass,
Like-
way to sound conceited there.
No,
You
come
should just
on.
take my word, because I know what I'm doing here.
No, no, 'cause
I am
every
Sassan
week-
Mirzai, and I approve this phone.
Every week I trash on the Surface, like the Surface Book and the Surface Pro 4, but I feel like the phone would be its revival.
Can you please tell me that line one more time again? You should. What would you say? You should.
I don't remember.
What did he say?
You should take my word for it, though.
Well, yeah. Oh, sorry. Snapdragon 830 chip. I said 860.
Oh, we
I
can't
made
take
a
your
big-
word for nothing. Oh, you heard it first here on Urban Definition. Sassan is
I
wrong.
messed up.
But he fact-checked correct himself.
He did fact check himself. You got to give him that. Okay, I'll give him back. I take back my 3-horn salute then. I can't take it back on air. I can't play that in
But
reverse.
you can give him another one for doing it correctly.
All right, Sassan, you did it correct. I'll give you that one.
Now let's move on to Kareem's favorite phone line, Samsung.
That is not my favorite phone line. Anybody
you
who
said
knows?
that last week. You can't take
Did I
your-
say my favorite? Wait, what did I say?
You said it was one of your favorites.
See, one of my favorites is not my favorite. Zayn, without me I'm looking at Sassan right now, and this ain't no magic trick. Zayn, what is my favorite brand?
To be honest, I have no idea, man.
You suck worse than...
He's gonna say OnePlus, but he has never owned one, so I can't take his word for that.
Just listen, all right? The only reason I decided to go with Samsung is because of the availability. If I ordered a OnePlus, I'd have to wait at least 2 weeks to 3 weeks to get the phone.
You need to listen to last week's recording, because
No,
honestly,
don't get me wrong. I like Samsung. You're the one who converted me from Apple over to Samsung.
Well, that's
However,
Apple.
I know,
Anything's
that's true.
better than that.
Anything, yeah, that's true. But
it makes it sound like they did it to you instead.
Oh my god. But wait, can I talk about what's going on with Samsung?
Yes,
first?
please, go
okay.
ahead.
So the Note 7 has been recalled. It's going to cost the company $1 billion because I think it's 2.3 million have been recalled.
1
and it's
billion.
because 35 have detonated while they were plugged in.
I know. Yes.
So
And this is not. We're not making this up.
and this isn't the first time this has happened. The S4 did this too, but when it happened for the S4, you had to sign a contract saying that you won't tell anyone that your phone exploded. And they'll give you a new phone. It was so dumb. At least now they're like open about it.
Can you imagine going through airport security and then having that happen to you?
But you have to plug it in. I think it only happened to people who had it plugged in. But still, yeah, I can see what you're talking about. Because what if you had like those portable battery packs and then it just blew up in your pocket? That'd be the worst.
That would. There's so many situations where that would just be wrong on. I mean, funny at the same time, but
And I'm
painful.
literally biting my tongue because I want to say so much about the places. Oh, the places you'll go.
No, don't
Oh,
say
no.
it. We talked about this off air. Don't do it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, let's move on from all the phones. Let's move on to Nintendo. So, this is actually a really weird thing that they did. But for their Splatoon tournament on the Wii U, if you win the tournament, the grand prize is a Nintendo NX. Which
Yeah.
is weird because no one knows what the NX is, no one knows what it looks like, and it's coming out next year. So, it's the weirdest prize I've ever heard of.
So you get to win something you have no idea about. It's just going to come to you for free.
Exactly, but if you guys are really good at Splatoon, you should take part in the tournament. I think the first day is on this Friday.
Yeah, I've never played Splatoon. I want to play it, but I haven't had no. I'm not gonna buy one. I'm not gonna buy a Wii U to play Splatoon.
Well, it's too late now since the NX is coming out soon.
It's never too late.
What? No, it's like how you bought your PS4 and the new PS4K comes out this November.
Sassan, did you see the seriousness on his face as he said that?
I know, he turned to me like...
This is not a joke. We're going to learn Splatoon and we're going to win this NX.
It's like that old meme from like 2005 with the groundhog on YouTube. Like faces the camera and it goes dun dun dun. No,
Nope.
no one remembers that meme.
No, I remember it. I'm just refusing to acknowledge it. Also, remember that? Okay, so during the Apple unveiling press conference meeting, there was a gentleman on the TV, and I was like, "This guy's a hotshot, a big guy," and Sassan didn't recognize who he was. Sassan, that was Tim Cook, the CEO.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, this is how much I care about Apple.
Oh,
Damn, Apple.
Sassan, shots fired!
No, but it's not like I'm mean. Like every year I do check the specs on Apple phones. I do like pick them up to try them out, and they're never good enough for me.
Wow.
I'm sorry, but they feel good. It's like a luxury phone, honestly. It's like Samsung's.
You know what my favorite part of that whole press conference was?
See ya at the end.
Watching Sia perform.
That was
mean.
fun.
You didn't watch it!
I watched some of it.
You watched a cumulative of at least 30 seconds max.
And for the 30 seconds, it was very great entertainment.
When it
I
started,
will say that.
Oh my god, when it started, I thought they were just gonna play the music video, and I'm like, oh my god, Apple, you're so sad. But then Sia came out, and I'm like, thank god, this would have been awful.
Sassan's only comment was, I like her bow.
Her bow was nice. She had a nice bow.
And then she had a bow change.
Her second bow sucked.
Sassan, you're such a weirdo sometimes.
It was so flat.
The second, yeah, he's like, at first he's like, ooh, I like that bow. And then the second time, all it was just purple to white. And then with the white bow, he went, no, that's too flat. Nope, I don't like that bow. It's too... I'm like, what?
It was flat.
It looks exactly the same.
It didn't. It was way better. It was like all shiny and like it looked plump. It looked like a pillow.
Plump, whoa, to flat. What is this? Just get back to tech talk.
Okay. So Nintendo had an update on Saturday, and this was the one that like broke my heart because it was during Fan Expo, and it was to update their Street Pass feature to allow you to collect 100 people instead of 10. And when I updated, it broke my DS.
So I have to interject here because on the Saturday that we met, Sassan was like the crabbiest person I'd ever met on the planet, and I thought he woke up on the wrong side of the bed. That's honestly what I thought. And he was like, the next day, he was like super down and sad about it, and he was like, Kareem, you were bullying me, you were making fun of me, you were just like a terrible human being. And I was also on his birthday. So it is very relevant to mention that on Sassan's birthday, his 3DS went kaput.
It was terrible. I don't know why Nintendo's update did that.
Worst
Sassan?
birthday ever.
Sassan sent me worst birthday morning ever.
Yeah, the morning. It all got better when I saw John Barrowman in the afternoon. He was awesome.
True.
But I fixed it, yeah, so I'm not mad at Nintendo. I had a backup somewhere. But anyways, the new update's really dumb, though. I thought once you updated to it, you got it, but you have to pay $7 to get the update.
Boom, 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 boom.
So even though I updated, broke my DS, and had to fix it, I didn't get the update.
Well, you were updating your girlfriend's phone. Did she get it?
Her 3DS? Hers got it, but she still had to pay, too.
Boom,
It was, I don't know. Nintendo, come on. Stop making people pay for...
Nintendo, stop being an Apple.
Oh, and there's something else I want to talk about. Last week was the first time Kareem ever heard of Humble Bundle.
Humble Bundle. Humble Bundle.
And I thought that was shocking because I thought everyone knew about it.
No, I did not know about Humble Bundle at all.
So I have to tell the world now. So Humble Bundle is this website where they have like a bunch of programs or a bunch of games, and they have different tiers. And the more money you donate to charity, the more stuff you get. And this week it's $15. Like if you donate at least $1 or $15, you can get the entire Game Maker Studio Suite, which is a really awesome program for making games. So you can make games for your iPhone, Android, anything you want for just $15. And then the money would go straight to Doctors Without Borders, or if you don't like that charity, you can pick your own charity.
Well, that's wicked as a cause.
I know.
Yeah.
So this website, there's like a new bundle every week. I know they had a PS4 one last week. I know Kareem didn't get it, though.
No, I didn't want Mega Man, nor did I really care for Street Fighter.
There was more. There was Resident Evil. There was...
It was
a
just
bunch of
Resident
indie
Evil
games.
10 remastered.
I guess. Okay, fine. I guess it wasn't that great, but for Nintendo, they actually gave us Street
I
Fighter.
haven't even finished Tom Clancy's The Division. Why am I going to start Resident Evil?
You're never gonna finish that. Isn't that like an MMO?
It is an MMO.
It's never gonna end.
It's never going to end, you're right. But still, I'm determined to finish it. But the problem is that UFC and NBA 2K is getting in the way.
Let's move on to Canadian news. So today is actually a meeting in Quebec for the CRTC to talk to Rogers and Bell and other distributors about basic cable packages.
Mm-hmm.
And if they don't like abide to all the complaints the customers have been giving, then they might have to revoke their broadcasting license. But I know Kareem is saying that that's not going to happen.
After he gives me a minute to say it too. So basically the whole thing with that, my argument with that is that when it comes to things like radio, for example, the CRTC doesn't have a very good track record with monitoring the different radio stations. With that being said, there's a lot of radio stations who it's mandatory to have the emergency broadcast system. So, for example, when an Amber Alert goes off, radio stations basically get cut mid-transmission, and the Amber Alert is broadcasted. There's a lot of radio stations that don't necessarily have that emergency broadcast system on, so when you listen to the radio and you hear Amber Alerts, there's some stations that don't necessarily have it. I wish I had to say this slower, but unfortunately I can't. With that being said, I have a huge fear that with this whole cable package, CRTC, again, is going to not be on the ball, and there's going to be a lot of packages coming out that they're not going to be able to track.
We can just talk about this more after the break, though.
Okay, fine.
We'll give it like 2 minutes.
That's a lot of time. But we'll be back, guys, after the break. Stay tuned.
Urban Definition on CHHA 1610. This is Urban Definition.
Welcome back, guys. Sassan's looking at me like, I thought I was going to talk. But we're at the part of our show, which is our last segment, and I like to call this little segment, well, this little package over here, the wrap-up. So usually, basically, this is just where we talk about, well, all the topics that we had discussed and anything else we have to say about it. So, Sassan, before we went to commercial, you were talking about the CRTC and my perspective and my rushed perspective on the fact that I don't think that the CRTC is going to be on the ball in regards to monitoring what packages Rogers and Bell and other service providers, for that matter, which really isn't very much, come out with.
But honestly, the way they're handling it right now, it's actually really unfair. Bell, in Ontario, you have to buy a $60 internet package to get the $25 cable package.
Yes, that's true.
And then Rogers, you have to rent their digital box, which is even more money per month. So, honestly, they just need to stick to the $25 rule. This is all I want.
It's a complete ripoff.
Yeah. What if people just want regular, like, news channels? They're not going to get that antenna because sometimes that thing doesn't work.
Do you remember back in the day when you had like 3 channels? I think there was like CTV, CBC, and CHCH, or you guys
Global.
don't? Global, yes.
Yeah,
Sorry, yeah.
And sometimes my antenna would get WB49 from the States, and I just
Double,
watch all
double,
this
double,
freaking-
double, WB.
Oh, that's great, man.
Yeah, I love my antenna.
Yeah.
Good days.
So you don't think that the CRTC is going to hold these companies accountable?
Well, I mean, realistically, because there's such a small market in terms of service providers, chances are they're probably going to be a little bit more diligent than they are with radio. But I just feel like give it time and it's going to get slack.
I can see that happening. And again, like we only have, 2 major main companies, so yeah, it's really hard to control these corporations, but because the CRTC is not really like, it's not, what's the state's counterpart to it?
What?
What's their counterpart in the US?
What are you talking about right
Do
now?
they have a CRTC? Like
They
their
don't
own
have a CRTC,
version?
but they have a governing body that tells their broadcast networks to what to focus on. Or
I don't remember right now.
Me neither.
It's probably
we never
time.
studied it.
It's
so-
probably Time Warner Cable. It's probably what's his name, Warren Buffett somewhere.
Oh, okay. Well, apparently Zayn brought up that we talked about this in March, so I'm
We did.
guessing.
I think what we talked about was with Verizon and cell phone networks, and that in relation to Bell, Rogers, and other. But I don't think we've spoken about TV before.
Oh,
no, we definitely talked about Bell and Rogers having to offer skinny packages for $25.
Okay.
But it was new then, and I know we said, let's see how this works out, and now we're at that point where we see how it's working out.
Yeah,
and
I
it's
guess
not
we have-
very well.
we have to wait to see what happens today in that conference.
We continue to play the waiting game.
People aren't happy about it because they're saying, well, we're complaining, you're not doing anything about it. What's the point of having these conversations? But there is some, and for people who are a little bit upset with it, that conversation is necessary, so then they know what specifically you don't like, as opposed to just, I don't like any of it.
I guess. Moving on in the wrap-up.
Wait. Before we move on, I want to tell everyone at home that while Zayn was talking about the CRTC stuff, on his laptop is a bunch of pictures of Sia wearing different colors bows.
I'm closing all these tabs because I was trying to look up what you and Sassan were talking about. I'm like, what's wrong with Sia's bow that one time? And now that tab is open.
No, but it was hilarious because you were also just staring at it while you were saying.
I'm speechless.
Let's move
I
on.
don't think it's real sickness that you have, Zayn. I feel like it's I mean, it's sickness, but just not of the cold variety. Anyways, hopefully moving
Sassan,
on.
tell them that.
Oh my
what I was
God.
looking at prior to that, though.
He was looking up the news.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Distracted thinking, I like to call it.
I don't think Zayn can sit next to people from now on. We really just have to stick him in this radio control room so he's not on his laptop all day. Or his phone trying to go live on Facebook.
Touche.
Guys, we're going to run out of time. Let's move to Zayn segment.
No! Moving on with the wrap-up. The last point I wanted to bring up about Colin Kaepernick is, I remember I'd mentioned that he is #1 in jersey sales right now.
Yeah.
So as a way of saying thank you to everybody for supporting his cause, including the military troops, he's donating 100% of all profits and procedures so basically when an athlete has a large amount of jersey sales, they get a percentage of that. What he's going to do is he's going to donate 100% of it back into the cause, whether that's low-income housing or, I don't know really what cause he's going to give it to at this point, but he's already pledged that he will be giving 100% of it back to the community.
That's awesome, man. You know what? That's what you need from these athletes, man. They're making all this money anyway. Donate, give it back.
It's true.
Apart
It's
from
true.
your foundations, give it back.
True. So is there anything else that I'm missing here, guys, in terms of the wrap-up?
Nope.
Good. With that being said, Zayn, what's going down this weekend?
All right, well, as you guys should know, TIFF is starting tomorrow, and it runs until September 18th, and it's a very exciting time for the city.
Did you guys buy your tickets yet?
No.
We have to do that.
I bought mine already.
What?
Sucker!
You loser.
Back to Zayn.
Yeah, I got to buy tickets too, but and we're going to post the website and everything on our Facebook page, so if you want to check out details about films, stars, and events going on, check us out on Facebook, and we'll definitely have it up there. But yeah, it's a very exciting time.
FYI to listeners, though, tickets actually went on sale as of Sunday.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I'd recommend y'all get on that, like, ASAP, because at this point, most of the good stuff is gone. I was able to get 3 dope films that I was super excited to see, and I got tickets for all of them. So, I hope that you guys are able to get tickets as well. So, but beware, they've been on sale since Sunday, and they sell off really quickly.
Most definitely. And for those of you driving for the next couple weeks, King Street will be closed from University to Peter Street for TIFF, so plan your route around that.
I feel like King Street's always closed at this point.
Yeah, it pretty much is. It's also the last month for Summer Fridays at the ROM, which ends September 23rd. So this is the last month of it. There's going to be music and refreshments at the ROM's new C5 lounge, and each day includes a film screening of Walking with Dinosaurs and Journey to Space. Never seen any of those movies, but they sound really exciting. Tickets are $10, so if you're planning to go, it's this Friday or next Friday or the Friday after that, so definitely check it out. You also have the Vegetarian Food Festival from Friday to Sunday at the Harborfront Center. Now, I've never heard of it before until this year, but it's regarded as the biggest festival of its kind in North America. So for all you vegetarians and or vegans, I think vegans?
You veg heads and vegalites.
This is the food fest for you at the end of the summer.
Hey, it
Decided
sounds
food.
tasty. I would go.
This is a food fest for you.
On Friday, it runs from 4 p.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday from 12 p.m. to 9 p.m., and Sunday from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. It's a free event, so definitely check it out, especially if that's your kind of thing. Saturday, we have the Cabbagetown Festival from Parliament Street at Wellesley to Gerrard and Carlton to Berkeley to Parliament. Visitors can experience the best of Cabbagetown. So, if you've never been in that neighborhood, it's a bit of an historic neighborhood. Definitely something to check out in Toronto. Go and check it out this weekend. It's from Saturday to Sunday. From Saturday, 11 a.m. to 10 p.m., and from Sunday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. And then, of course, on Saturday, the last thing, you have the Niagara Falls Wine Festival from September 10th to the 25th. So it's going to be happening for about another couple weeks. And you can celebrate the vineyard community in Niagara Falls. If anyone's been to Niagara Falls, you know that they have wine tours and such going on. So definitely check it out. It's a festival dedicated just for that. And they're including fun for kids this year too. So I don't know how that's going to work out, but I mean, it's Niagara Falls, so worst case, take the kids to the falls.
That's true. What
And
are you
that's
guys
it.
doing?
That's not it. This
Well-
Friday, Build-A-Bear is giving out bears for $5 each.
Sassan would be the Build-A-Bear guy.
No, but it's
Yep.
$5 bears when they're normally like 25 to 30 bucks.
Holy.
Yeah, so like $5 bears, and whenever you buy a bear, another bear goes to the Boys and Girls Clubs of Canada.
That is really great. I did not know that. I got my information from a site that did not have that, so I will check that out.
So let me ask you a question. Are you able to go buy the Build-A-Bear without having to do the filling and everything right now? Like, can you just go and buy the bear?
Probably.
Cool.
That's how I usually do it.
Cool.
And you do it with like your friends.
Well, I was thinking more of my siblings, but yeah.
Oh yeah, you can do that. Yeah, and then just give it to them in the box, and they'll go and fill it up themselves.
Sweet.
Put the heart in.
Make it a fun activity.
Yes, sir.
And you guys were like ripping on me saying that the storm isn't like going to be big outside. I just got a thunderstorm warning, like a severe thunderstorm warning on my phone right now. So be careful, everyone outside.
Okay.
Yeah, if you're gonna wait. For
Zane's
the
looking at
bus
his phone to
anytime
see if he's
soon.
getting an alert as well.
I know.
He's like reaching for his phone as you said that. He's like, let me just reach up over here. We got to ban Zane from his phone during the show.
No, but it was. I don't know why.
It's
Sam's
been
like-
useful at some point.
But you have a laptop
I know.
on Wi-Fi.
I have a problem.
He just wanted the notification of the storm.
He's
need
like,
to
I
know.
want one too. Anyways, guys, as per usual, have a fantastic weekend. Don't drink and drive. Be safe, because ain't nobody need that. And have a great day, guys. I mean, it's a good week.
Take
Bye.
care.
CHHA.
This is Urban Definition.